As health and wellness providers, we know that better patient outcomes require a whole person, multidisciplinary approach that we just can't provide on our own. That's why I've started the Wellness Center Creators Podcast. I'll be bringing you interviews with experts, tips, tricks, secrets, resources, systems, and solutions so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And creating your wellness center won't feel like starting over. Let's start off today's show with our sponsor, Jane, an all-in-one practice management software. Jane offers a PCI-compliant solution called Jane Payments that's designed to bring convenience to your day-to-day payments. That means payment options that make for a quick and easy checkout for you and your clients. With Jane Payments, you can save a little time by collecting payment before an appointment with an online booking payment policy or requesting a card on file through an intake form. You can also use the integrated Jane Payments terminal to tap, insert, or swipe credit cards on site, and you'll have the option to store cards on file through the terminal for quicker checkout for future appointments. To see Jane Payments in action, head to jane.app/payments. Don't forget, listeners can use the code WELLNESS1MO for a 1-month grace period on your new Jane account. Welcome back, everyone, to the Wellness Center Creators Podcast. Today on the show, we have Luke DeBoy. Welcome, Luke.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Let's start out with you introducing yourself to our audience. And I always love the question, why did you become a therapist?
Oh, yeah. Doesn't it choose us? Isn't that what people say?
It sure does.
So, yes, my name is Luke DeBoy. I'm a licensed clinical mental health therapist, and I'm a certified addictions counselor as well. And why did I choose to be a therapist? Well, I like to think it was divinely inspired. I certainly was going a different direction with athletic training and exercise science, and I got that as my undergrad. And working with athletes doing physical therapy and care and prevention, I enjoyed that. But in my internship, I kind of created a program, not just doing some drug and alcohol education awareness program. So they allowed me to design a program that wasn't just exercise science and physical based. And I got to really see some of the psychological stuff. So I went from working with the body physically to then getting my master's in mental health social work. So, and then I liked it.
And then he liked it. He stayed.
Yeah.
Why did you choose substance use as your niche?
Well, like a lot of us, with whatever direction we go in the mental health field, there's usually a reason. And there's a reason for me. I've been sober since 2006. And once we get in the recovery world, and people helped me, and people helped literally save my life. So I get to help people save their own lives as well. And it's something that's been a passion of mine, and in some way, shape, or form since 2007, 2008, I've been working with people with addictions, whether it's primary, secondary, or somewhere. Usually it's somewhere in there for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like you have a pretty holistic, integrative approach to recovery treatment. Tell us a little bit about your practice, kind of how it's set up and what makes it integrative, first of all.
Yeah. I've worked in inpatient, intensive outpatient settings. I've helped develop and design programs from the birth of treatment facilities and writing policies and procedures. And I've done just about everything you can do in the addictions recovery space. So one of the things I've realized after I was a clinical director of an inpatient facility, one of the thoughts was, okay, if I don't leave now with my second child on the way, I don't know if I ever will. And having, being on call 24/7, 365, I got to understand a lot of the inner workings of all aspects of that type of treatment. And I realized there were still some holes missing that I could help fill a void for a lot of people when it comes to therapy and integrative therapy. And sometimes, I don't know about you, sometimes I cringe when it comes to integrative, holistic, comprehensive, and
100%.
there's so many buzzwords. And, as my practice as Recovery Collective, and it was really important to me to go, well, what does that actually mean? And I can provide experiential therapy, mental health therapy, and help with behaviors. But I wanted a practice that truly looks at the whole person with things that, even though I would like to do, I don't have that skill set. And I'm sure we might talk a little bit more what that means. But to have an integrative practice, there needs to be a shared vision. So there's myself that came from an athletic training, exercise, science, physical rehab background. So I understand how the body is affected as much as the mind. But having a classical Chinese medicine and an acupuncturist that understands the mind and body in a completely different way, yet we still have the same vision. And we still have, in some ways, completely different upbringing and training, the same philosophy with just a different lens. And being able to provide a Theravada, he pronounces it Theravada, Buddhist practitioners from Burma, that is working on mindfulness and meditation in a way that I can't, but yet we still have the same vision. And I wanted to build a practice with other practitioners before I brought on additional therapists, because I really wanted that collective approach. And that was really important to me.
So what have you seen that's most effective about that when we're talking specifically about addiction? How have you seen the integrative approach be successful?
Well, being a former clinical director, I saw the things that weren't successful, just as I saw the things that were successful. And because of that, I've got to identify, what does it really mean to be a holistic treatment? Providing services that are truly comprehensive in terms of what does it mean to help this person physically, mentally, emotionally, physiologically, psychologically, socially, spiritually. What does that truly mean? And a lot of treatment facilities, one, have a finite amount of time because of insurance companies, and may not be as individualized as they'd like to be because they are a treatment facility in a group practice for 30, 60, 90 days. I don't have those limitations. So I can really dive in a way that I'm, sometimes I do sessions longer than 50 minutes because I'm not bound to insurance.
Because you can.
Because I can. I've been able to create something that we call the integrative holistic at first, but then we call it now the AcuTalk therapy, where it's myself and the classical Chinese medicine acupuncturist in a session at the same time. And we're doing stuff psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, and physically that we couldn't do in separate sessions. And that's been mind-blowing. That's been really fun work. And it's brought stuff up, whether it's trauma work or emotional or somatic work that often might take me 3, 6, 9 months in individual therapy, that we've noticed it's condensed it down tremendously working together in a session. Now, I've certainly called insurance companies, but they said, yeah, we can't help with that. So I said, okay, I'll be a private pay practice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's talk more about these specialties you've created: addiction recovery intensive, integrative, holistic specialties. Mm-hmm. So you mentioned you're doing basically 2 providers in the room with the patient at the same time. Yeah. So tell us more about how that works.
Yeah, and I'll highlight the AcuTalk, the integrative holistic. We went back and forth on the names, but we realized we've been working together for years with the same client, whether it's when we both worked at the same treatment facility. And there were things that he was doing in his individual acupuncture Chinese medicine sessions that I was doing in talk therapy. And we thought, well, why don't we work together in a session? And that's just been the amount of energy and awareness from the subconscious to the conscious, and then the emotional, the psychological, and the physical. You've got 2 practitioners helping someone at the team. Why not? why not do something like that? So that's been wonderful. The other thing that I felt that there was a hole in services, there's a lot of residential treatment. Often it goes levels of care, detox, residential. There's like a partial hospitalization program for substance use. and then an intensive outpatient. But for a lot of people, there seems to be a gap between inpatient and an IOP. A lot of times that there are practices that, I've been to inpatient 15 times. I've been to this intensive outpatient 4 times. I don't feel like I'm getting what I needed. So I felt like there was a gap, and I created the addiction recovery intensive, where it's myself. I meet with them for 3 sessions a week for an entire month. So I do 2 individual sessions and I do a family session. Now, it's not 9 hours a week, but a lot of times clients feel that they're getting more out of this addiction recovery intensive than they would be in a group setting. I love group work. I do relapse prevention groups and things like that, but it's just a more intensive level of care when they step down from one level of care to a next. Sometimes I have clients that do an IOP and do my addiction recovery intensive. And the beautiful part about the Recovery Collective is we do the addiction recovery intensive holistic version, where they see me 3 times a week, and then they also see my mindfulness meditation coach, and they also get acupuncture. And that's been phenomenal. It's been a great, intensive, what I truly feel holistic practice can be. So,
It's a beautiful model.
yeah, it's been fun. It came like, ooh, and then to see some of the quote unquote success, and success can be their realizations, them changing their behaviors, them having more insight that they didn't have before, them potentially staying sober. It's been profound for sure.
So let's talk about the business side a little bit. Our listeners are mostly business owners in the health and wellness space. What would you say makes your practice successful from a business perspective?
I was okay to grow slow.
Yes.
And growing slow, it was 2 things. I promised my wife, as we had our second baby, that this wasn't going to be my 3rd baby. Priority was maintaining, sustaining, and being able to do that. Yes, give me a full-time father role and things like that, but it also gave me the ability to see things in my practice. And we've just got out of a 2020 COVID boom where, as you know, so many therapists were opening their own businesses and practices, and that's great. Most of it's wonderful and of course needed, but growing slow allowed me to not feel like I had to rush and hire another therapist because I was referring people out. It allowed me to see what I wanted for the collective, what was our vision, our mission, to make sure I was hiring practitioners that truly understood what I wanted to create and develop together collectively. So growing slow has been wonderful. I didn't have to make actions or reactions on impulse, which was often directly related to fear for me. I got to have a stronger base and really help the organic marketing happen, whether it's through other clients or being in the field for well over a decade, working with other practitioners and all, both Virginia, Pennsylvania, Delaware, including my state of Maryland, understand what I was really trying to create, allowed for a very successful, slowly growing practice. It allowed me to go, I think I need to hire another therapist now. And now I'm talking to a potential chiropractor and creating more of a collaboration with other holistic practitioners that has the same philosophy that I do, as opposed to, potentially do other hires. So I think it's created the slow process has created more, hopefully, wisdom through this journey.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I answered
Sage advice.
Yeah, I don't know if I answered all the questions, but that was the first thing that came to my mind for sure.
Yes, definitely. And I think that's when we think about listeners who are just starting out, slow growth, organic growth is, typically going to be the recommendation. And it can be painful at times. And we might be comparing ourselves to others, but hold your ground. And it's really a good way to go in the beginning. Luke, it's been a pleasure chatting with you. I hear word on the street is you have your own podcast. I'd love to hear a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's been fun. We say we collectively. My one of my coworkers, Zalmal, who grew up in Burma. He's the Theravada. He's Buddhist practitioner. He does mindfulness coaching and life coaching. we decided to create a podcast. It's one way to get more content out. We get to talk about things we're passionate about, and we get to take long form content and break it down to short forms, and it's free marketing when it comes to all the social media platforms. And that was been an enjoyable, slow process, but it's called A Therapist to Buddhist in You. So we get the therapist perspective, myself, we get the Buddhist, Zamal, and you, whether it's the expert we bring on or you, the listener. And we talk about a third of the episodes are on mental health and or substance use and addiction recovery. About another third of the episodes is on Buddhist principles and that topic. And the other third is anything and everything health and wellness. So it's been a fun passion project, and it's been cool. Like, as you know, it's been cool to see and fascinating to see people all over the world begin to listen to it. And it's done its purpose with spreading kind of our vision and mission to have a collective solution to all things health and wellness. So it's been fun.
Well, it sounds amazing. And you have a giveaway for our listeners. Sounds like if the Wellness Center Creators listeners hop on and listen to your podcast, A Therapist, a Buddhist, and You, and leave a review, then you are going to give them a one-to-one session with your mindfulness meditation coach.
Yeah. Listen to a couple episodes, and if you're so inspired, leave a review on one of the platforms and send me an email, and we'll be glad to. You'll really enjoy working one-on-one with Zamal. He's wonderful.
Well, that sounds like an amazing offering. Thank you so much, Luke. It was a pleasure to chat with you today.
Yes, thank you, Kendall, and congratulations on everything you're doing as well.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much for listening to the Wellness Center Creators Podcast. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Please visit our website at wellnesscentercreators.com for more show notes and additional episodes. By the way, I love hearing from listeners. Please send me an email at Kendall, Kendall, at wellnesscentercreators.com with your feedback. And if you send me a question, maybe I'll read it on the show, anonymously, of course. Thanks so much again for listening, and we'll catch you next time on the Wellness Center Creators Podcast.